When I lived in New York in the 80s, when I went to the Whitney program, there was a lot of political art was kind of on the ascendant. There were a lot of artists making political art, and I was involved a little bit with ACT UP, which was an organization trying to promote awareness of the AIDS crisis. And there were a lot of people that were using their art to do that. And I actually marched in front of Senator Alphonse D'Amato's office after he tore up the catalog that had, I think it was one of the artists who had an NEA grant that was censored, the Piss Christ. I think he ripped the Piss Christ out of the catalog, and so I did participate in political activities related to art, but my artwork itself never was explicitly very, except for those couple of occasions, was not about that. It was about my ideas. I wanted to, I'm very selfish, I guess, in that I didn't want to, make explicit political comments in my artwork. But there were a lot of artists who were arguing that everything was political. If you're not, even if you don't think you're making political art, you're making political art. You're making, you're just unaware of it. Mm. And so I guess that if you follow that argument, you're expressing yourself, so you're practicing your freedom of expression as an artist always. I don't see the same kind of political art, the amount of political art that I saw in the 80s, but I'm not in New York anymore either. I'm in Texas, where, so I don't know if it's my location, but it's not at the same level it was in the 80s. The 80s were, it was the Reagan era, and there was the AIDS crisis, and there was all kinds of shenanigans going on politically with arms being traded for hostages and sent to Central America. Central America was where the United States was trying to have political influence then, more than like the Middle East, and so there was a lot of artists making art in opposition to that. But I think there's still artists who are doing things that are politically conscious. The Guerrilla Girls were working in the 80s, and they're still doing stuff.